Please subscribe the channel and don't forget to click the bell icon.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So welcome to the class of plant anatomy. So previously we have discussed little about or we can say that the theories of meristem. Now we are turning our attention to our new topic, the next topic, that is the leaf. So in this particular topic we are going to discuss about the development of the leaf, and then we are going to discuss about the anatomy of the leaf. So what is the leaf anatomy, what are the various tissues which are present in the leaf, and so on. So first of all, what we have the shoot apex, which produces the lateral organs, and therefore the structure and activity of the shoot apical meristem must be considered in relation to the origin of lateral organs. You know that previously the topic which we have discussed, that was the apical meristem. So the apical meristem, or we can say that the shoot apical meristem, it is considered or it is responsible for the development of the lateral organs, the organs which are developing like the leaf, the branches and other parts. So that shoot apical meristem is actually responsible for the development of these lateral organs. So that's why after the apical meristem directly we are discussing about the development of the leaf. So here that what we are discussing, that is the shoot apex which produces the lateral organs, and therefore structure and activity of the shoot apical meristem must be considered in relation to the origin of lateral organs. So that's why we are discussing the apical meristem with respect to the development of the lateral organs. So especially the leaves which are initiated in the peripheral zones of the shoot apex, so that are specially discussed, and they are whenever we are discussing about the development of the leaf, so first we have to discuss about the meristem. So in this discussion only the feature of leaf origin are considered that are related to the structure and activity of the apical meristem. So as far as the leaf development is concerned, there are various aspects of the leaf development. So here only those aspects will be discussed which are only related to, which are only linked with the activity of the apical meristem. So remember, our discussion, the next discussion of the leaf development will be restricted to only those areas, those parts which are restricted only to the development of the from the apical meristem. So before before discussing about the leaf development, so first we have to talk about the order of the leaf, or which we are saying, or which we can say that the phyllotaxy. So what is phyllotaxy? It is from the phylon, leaf, and taxis mean arrangement of the leaf. So the order or arrangement of leaf on stem is called the phyllotaxy, and the most common phyllotaxy is spiral. So here we have various phyllotaxies, like we have the spiral, in which with one leaf at each node and the leaf forming a helical pattern around the stem and with an angle of divergence between successive leaves. So spiral means one node and one leaf. So this is the one type of phyllotaxy. We are not going to discuss in detail about these phyllotaxies, but as far as we are discussing about the development of the leaf, so that's why we have to write here, we have to give a recap of these phyllotaxies. So here is another plant with a single, we can say that we have the second phyllotaxy in other plant, single leaf at each node, the leaves are disposed 180. So these are the angles which you do not have to worry about it. So we are simply talking about the phyllotaxies. This type of phyllotaxy is called the distachias. At each node and the leaves are disposed apart in two opposite ranks. So if the leaves are in opposite ranks, so they are called the distachias. And if there is a spiral, so there is a one with one leaf at each node, so that is the spiral. So in some plants the leaves are disposed at 90 angle from each other in pairs at each node, and the phyllotaxy is said to be opposite. So you have studied about the opposite and superposed, opposite and dissociate. So these are all are the phyllotaxies which are present in the various plants. So if each successive pair is at right angle to the previous pair, arrangement is dissociate, and if there is a more than one leaves at each node, so that phyllotaxy is called a whorled phyllotaxy. So these are the various types of phyllotaxies which we have studied previously, and we have also discussed it. But to start our topic from, we are starting our classes from today, so that's why it was it was necessary to start our topic from the scratch. So the first histological event which is commonly associated with the leaf initiation are changes in the rates and planes of cell division in the peripheral zone of the apical meristem. So remember, as far as the first histological event which is associated with the leaf initiation, so what it is the changes in the rates and planes of cell division in the peripheral zone of apical meristem. So here we are talking about the how the leaf development initiate, how it starts. So first change, what it is, it occurs here in the rate of the cell division. So at what rate the cell division is proceeding, if the rate is higher, if the rate is lower. So that is the we can say that the mark or indicator which indicates that either the leaf development has been started or not. And second is the plane of cell division, as we have discussed about the periclinal and anticlinal division pattern of the cell division in the apical meristem. So here what happens, so the plane of cell division changes. So these are the two main histological events which indicates that what happens, the leaf initiation has been started. So these all events where they are occurring in the peripheral zone of apical meristem, remember. So either these peripheral zone you discuss it with the relation to the tunica carpus theory or with respect to the dermatogen or histogen theory. So that is up to you. So resulting in the formation of a protrusion. So first of all, what happens, protrusion is developed which we call the leaf buttress on the side of the axis. So this is the first step or the first indicator, the first step toward the development of the leaf. So a leaf initiated by periclinal division in a small group of cells at the side of an apical meristem. So what happens, so previously in the previous slide what we have said that so there is a change in the rate and plane of cell division. So in this particular change, so what happens, a leaf initiated by periclinal division in a small group of cells at the side of an apical meristem. So in angiosperms, the tunica and the carpus are responsible for leaf initiation. So as far as the angiosperms are concerned, these two tissues, the tunica and the carpus, are responsible for the development of the for the initiation of the leaf. So if in the dicotyledonous plants, the periclinal division initiating the leaves occur not in the surface layer but in one or more layers beneath it. So here what happens in the dicots, in the dicotyledons, the periclinal division initiating the leaves occur not in the surface layer. So here we are talking about the tunica and the carpus. So what happens in the dicots? In the dicots plant, the periclinal is initiating, but it is not in the surface layer but in one or more layers beneath it. So we can say that it is taking place in the carpus region, so not in the tunica. If tunica is single layered, so here we are talking about the various exceptions and various possibilities of the development from the tissues. So if the tunica is single layered, such division takes place within the carpus. So here is the first possibility. So here there are some plants in which the tunica is single layered. So if the tunica is single layered, so such division will take place within the carpus, and otherwise they occur both in tunica and carpus or in the tunica only. So here we have three possibilities. In the first possibility, if the tunica is single layered, so the division which will mark the initiation of the leaf development, they will take place in the carpus, and otherwise they may occur in both tunica and carpus as well, or they may also take place in the tunica only if the tunica is more than one layered. So here we have the three possibilities. It may take place, it may initiate in the carpus region, it may initiate in both tunica and carpus, or it may only initiate in the tunica region. So in certain monocotyledonous plants, the superficial tunica layer undergoes periclinal division and gives rise to some or most of the tissue. So here we have another thing. So what happens in certain monocotyledonous plants, the superficial tunica layer undergoes periclinal division, and after the periclinal division it gives rise to some or most of the tissues. So in the case of gymnosperms, the leaf initiates from the peripheral tissue zone. So what happens in the gymnosperms, the initiation of leaf, the development of the leaf initiates from the peripheral tissue zone. And in the vascular cryptogams, like in the pteridophytes, the leaves are initiated either from the single superficial cells or from group of such cells. So here we are talking about the development of leaf, initiation of leaf in various plants like in gymnosperm and in pteridophytes. So in gymnosperm what happens, it occurs in the peripheral tissue zone, while in the vascular cryptogames, which we can also say that the pteridophytes, the leaves are initiated either from the single superficial cell. So either they are taking place not from the tissues but from the single superficial cells or from group of the superficial cells. So superficial means which are present in the layer, in the we can say that the first layer in the surrounding in the peripheral zone. Periclinal division, which initiate a leaf primordium, are responsible for the formation of a lateral prominence on the side of the shoot apex. So what happens when the periclinal division occurs? So what they do, they initiate a leaf primordium. So what is the leaf primordium? We have discussed it previously. So what they do, the periclinal division which initiate a leaf primordium are responsible for the formation of lateral prominence on the sides of the shoot apex. So this is the first or the second step. The prominence constitutes the leaf base, which is also known as the leaf buttress, which is developed in the start. So subsequently the leaf grows upward from the buttress. So first histological event was the change in the rate and plane of cell division, which have developed the leaf buttresses, and next what we have the periclinal division which initiate. So it formed the leaf primordium, then the leaf primordium, this prominence constitutes the leaf base, which is also called as the leaf buttresses, and subsequently the leaf grows upward from the buttress. So the apical meristem is less predominantly elevated above the youngest leaf buttress. So here we are talking about this diagram. So what it is, so here we have the description of it. The leaf initiation in a shoot of hypericum, change in shape and histology of the shoot apex, longitudinal sections are seen in this figure. So here you can see, here we have the first A. So what happens, the development occurs. So here we have the tunica, which is more than one layer, and here we have the carpus. So here we have the tunica and carpus arrangement. So what happens here, so here we have the B and this particular is the C. So the periclinal divisions are taking place, and this particular due to these periclinal divisions, so what will happen, the leaf buttresses will be appearing here in this particular area. So what happens, so as we have seen, as we have developed discussed it, that the first change is the in the rate and planes of the cell division, which occur either in the tunica and carpus, and here due to this particular change in division, what we are getting the leaf buttresses which are developing here. So this is the T, and next we have the E, which has formed the nodes, and the tunica is the carpus. So here what we have formed the leaf primordia. So first of all, here we have the 4 or 5 steps in which what we have this particular start of the, and here we have only the tunica and carpus. In the second, what we have the periclinal division which are taking place in the peripheral tissue zones, and due to those periclinal division we have the formation of leaf buttresses, and after the formation of leaf buttresses those will be developed, and due to the division, so what will have, they will form the leaf primordia and leaf base and further development of the leaf. So same is the case here, initiation of lateral bud in Agropyron. So what happens here, we have the first structure, then what happened, the periclinal division is starting, leaf sheath above bud primordium. So this is only the sheath of leaf. So in the third diagram, so you can see that the initiation or bulging is formed, and this bulging is responsible for the development of the leaf, and in D also this bulge is formed, and in the another diagram, the next diagram, so what we have the foliar primordia and tunica carpus arrangement which have formed in the bud. So this is the initiation of the lateral bud, and this here we are discussing about the development of the leaf. So before the initiation of a new leaf primordium, the apical meristem appear as a rounded mound. So as we have seen in the previous diagram, so what happens before the initiation of the leaf primordia, so what it is appearing like a rounded mound only. So there is no leaf primordia, there is nothing. So it gradually widens, and then leaf buttresses are initiated on the side. So as it is clear from this particular diagram, it is a rounded mound, then the divisions occur. So what happens here, so leaf primordium are formed on the sides, and while the new leaf primordia grow upward from the buttresses, the apical meristem again becomes a small mound. So at the end what happens, again it develops, it forms as a small mound, and leaf develops, leaf buttresses develops on the sides, and this condition is then again restored.